Hey everyone, welcome to North Court. We are coming to you live to preview Canada's first game against Greece, the first of their last chance qualifying tournament. It's going to be a tough one. Greece ranks 6th in the FIBA rankings. Make sure to catch the game on CBC at 7 p.m. How is Canada coming at Greece? Let's look at that roster. First names that you're going to see off the bat. Well, there's no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's no Jamal Murray. So what does that mean? It's going to be all about the wings for Canada. And you look at that, you see RJ Barrett, you see Andrew Wiggins, you see Luguentz Dort. They are going to be key factors for this Canada team. And if they can deliver, hey, that Olympic berth is what we've been waiting for. The last time Canada qualified for the Olympics was 2000, that Steve Nash era. RJ Barrett, well, his dad, Rowan Barrett, was a part of that team and doing a whole lot of scoring. They're gonna need that firepower once again. But hey, when you look at that team, what they did in 2000, it's about keeping that momentum and delivering on what that opportunity created. This is the golden generation's chance to deliver. Joining me now to get into some Twitter questions is Javon Shepard. Javon, let's get into it. First question, who is in your crunch time 5?
Oh, that's a tough one because obviously we know that this team is extremely talented. I think my crunch time 5, I'm going to go Corey Joe. You get the experience, a guy that's battle tested on the international stage. I'm going to go with RJ Barrett, and we know what he can accomplish at the U19s, pretty much led this under-19 team to a gold medal. He wears this with a badge of honor. His father played for the team. He's now here doing the same and just trying to lead this team into success, into the Olympics. And then I'm going Andrew Wiggins. He's obviously going to be the best athlete on the court at all times. So, he's always going to have an impact at different levels in the game. Trey Lyles is a sleeper that I'm going to have in there. I think he hasn't set his imprint on the NBA side, but a player like him on the international stage, a guy that can be a tweener, a guy that has good size, can shoot the basketball, can do a number of things down low as well, and has some athleticism. He can really impact, teams, especially at this FIBA level where he may be playing, defenders that are smaller than him and slower, and bigger. So. And then to round it out, Dwight Powell. I think you get your rebounding, you get some defensive presence at the rim. And that rounds it out. That 5 right there, I think it's all situational, right? It depends on what you need, but I think if I'm going to pick a 5 right now, I'm going to run with those guys.
Yeah, I think the big part where you get into the situational factor is, hey, do you need a 3? Do you need some spacing on the court? That's where Trey Lyles comes in and can offer you that shooting. My concern with him is the fact that he hasn't played much basketball the last couple of years. And so coming into this tournament, when I look at who's available on this roster, I'm fully with you on Corey Joseph, but it's all about the wings for me. So I've got Andrew Wiggins, Luguentz Dort, and RJ Barrett on the court along with Dwight Powell. I think defensively, that closing 5, they'll be comfortable switching on to anyone. Outside of Corey, you want to keep him on the 1 ideally, but 2 through 5, they're going to be pretty happy to switch whenever they need to. And that size with Dwight, to get those boards to close out the possession is going to be huge. So that's the little shift that I'll have on my end with the floor.
Well, the good thing is any rotation, any 5 you go with, you're going to have length, you're going to have athleticism, you're going to have guys that are interchangeable, guys that can play up a couple positions, and guys that can play down. I really don't think there's a way to lose that conversation or the 5 that you put out there. It's just going to come down to which 5 is going to be able to execute the most. And I think the key to that is having Corey Joseph, the guy that's been Canada basketball lifer, you really organizing the team and being the head of that snake.
No doubt. Let's get to the next question. So we're going to look at, outside of Traybell Haynes, who is someone that could surprise on this Canadian roster? We know the big names, but who is someone outside of Traybell Haynes who we've talked about a little bit that could surprise?
Well, I'm going to go throwback, a guy that I played with and spent a lot of time with the national team, a guy that's, he's been a part of the dark days. And I'm going to throw Aaron Dornekamp out there. And I said it earlier, I think some people have seen his name on this list. I don't really understand how he's in the mix of guys. And I think they don't understand FIBA basketball or this international stage if you're saying that. This guy is a consummate pro. he defines Canadian basketball, and he's the the ultimate glue guy. He's going to go out there and do all the intangibles, all the dirty work that you need from somebody that may not want to sacrifice. A lot of the guys on this team are played at NBA level. They may not want to dive on the floor for a loose ball, and he's a guy that's going to defend. He can defend 1 through 5. He's going to rebound. He's probably going to get you in a couple fights, but he's going to also be a guy that's going to defend for you and fight for you.
Hey, in the words of Greg Popovich, in this FIBA tournament, you're going to need some nasty. So,
I agree.
I'm all for it. For me, I'm looking again at the young kids. Looking at someone like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think when he can come off that bench and provide that scoring punch and just change the momentum of games, we've seen him with the New Orleans Pelicans come in and have some big nights scoring-wise. If he can do that for this ball club, I think it's going to make a huge difference for this team, because off the bench, you need a bit of that firepower, and that's where he could come in. I really like what he said through camp in terms of trying to be a leader, trying to be a young leader and make other guys feel comfortable. Hey, Nick Nurse is going to be a whole lot more comfortable if he's out there making some shots.
And the other side to that is Nickeil is a big-time talent. And he's somebody that can play 3 positions. And Nick Nurse has said they've played him a lot at the point guard position, so we could see him playing at that point position. And now you have a big, lanky scoring guard that can facilitate and get guys going. And he's not new to it. He's not foreign. At Virginia Tech, he spent some time playing that playing point guard under Buzz Williams. So I think he's a guy that you definitely have to watch out, absolutely, because he's so talented, so lengthy. And I think now when a guy like that has freedom, you're going to get to see how high his ceiling can be.
Now, a bit of a personal question for you, Javon. You know what it's like to be in a tournament like this that has so much at stake. Those 24 hours leading up to that first game where you can set the tone for how the rest of the tournament shapes up, what is that like for the players?
Well, I'm glad to be on this side now because I don't have to worry about what I'm eating before the game and feeling heavy during the game. But no, a lot of guys have different routines. Some guys, listen to different types of music. Some guys like R&B, slow it down a bit. Some guys like rock, some guys like hip hop. But I think, the important part is just locking into your scouting report and knowing your defensive assignments and knowing where you need to be, the schemes and the tactics that you're going to use on the offensive end. So it's almost like studying for a test. You also don't want to overthink it because the game is, reading and reacting. So it's just knowing, the fundamentals, knowing your principles, and knowing what you're going to stick to with your opponents, just knowing your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. And then from that, it's just really play your game. Let the game come to you, flow, and just not be too uptight. I know some guys, for myself, when I was nervous, I knew I was going to have a good offensive game. But at the same time, when I thought too much is when I overthought the game and things happened that probably shouldn't have happened. But yeah, it's all about routine and just understanding your matchups, understanding what the coach is asking of you. One, to stay on the court, because everybody's a competitor. They want to be out there on the court to help the team win. And obviously, let's be real, everybody wants to have good stats, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. Different guys have different rhythm.
Well, Javon, I want to thank you for making this a part of your pregame routine. You got to go over and call this game now. So thanks for joining us for this. We're going to head over to Nick Nurse. He shared some thoughts on how he juggles coaching the Toronto Raptors, keeping track of all the Canadian talent that's out there, whether it's in the NBA, in Europe, at the NCAA, you name it. So let's hear his thoughts on that. Nick, to start off, can you give us some insight into basically how you keep track of all the Canadian talent that's out there? We've talked about how this is a golden age for Canada basketball, but whether it's in Europe or here in the NBA, how are you keeping track of everyone, and maybe who do you trust to be your eyes and ears for what you can see?
Well, let me give you the kind of the 30,000 foot view first. First of all, the staff, I get a email about every other day with the stats of everybody from all over the world. So there's kind of a big list, long list, as you know, NBA, college, Europe, whatever, wherever everybody's playing, of just their numbers and their game, the result, how many minutes, just a stat read. So I can just kind of take that look a few times a week. That's all prepared by Phil Yetovich, our analytics and assistant coach. He's such a good dude, good basketball guy. And then obviously I I watch a lot of NBA games. That's no different than normal for me. I do tend to stick around a little longer for a game that maybe not be that much interest to my Raptor job. Last night was a good example. I was kind of done for the night and decided to watch the end, the last quarter and a half of the Memphis game, where Brandon Clark had a nice little flurry there in the game. So, there's a bunch of guys playing, and I can almost always find one of those each night to watch. And I do once in a while throw on a EuroLeague game or something. Somebody will say, hey, Pangos had a big night last night, and then I'll just get my film guys to tell them to put it on my TV in the office on the way into the office. And you can usually watch those games in 45 minutes or an hour and spend that much time doing that. But that's probably the gist of it.
Hey, we're going to get a good look at how well Nick Nurse's preparation has gone soon enough. Someone who's going to get a bird's eye view close in, right in there, is Devin Haru, our own Devin Haru, who's live in the arena. Devin, give us a feel of what's happening out there.
V, we have been waiting for this moment, haven't we? Welcome to you. Welcome, Canadian basketball fans from coast to coast inside the Victoria Memorial Arena. Teams on the court behind me as I look across. Superfan Nav in the arena as well. I know you and I are going to get to that a little bit more. I caught up with him in the parking lot. But listen, you can feel the urgency. Of course, no fans are going to be in this arena here tonight, but there's nothing like that big game feeling. The Olympic qualifier underway, Canada and Greece. It's felt like forever to get to this point. But, I'm just so impressed with the way this Canadian team has handled itself over the past couple of days, being here on the ground. Yesterday, we had exclusive access to their final practice. This was a team so focused, so intense, but at the same time, keeping it very light, having fun at the end of practice. So I think that feels good right now as I've been watching them get ready for this game here tonight. Very loose, very focused. So the scene is set in Victoria, a brilliant basketball community. They're excited. I've been talking to volunteers, people at the restaurants. Of course, they wish they would be here. We wish this place was packed here tonight. They're going to have fans later in the week inside this venue. But tonight, finally, basketball, and this Canadian squad is ready, no doubt.
Devin, talk to us a little bit about that. Of course, Nick Nurse coached the Toronto Raptors to a championship. One of the big keys for him was not getting too high, not getting too low, just staying balanced. What have you garnered from talking to him, talking to the players, and understanding where their mindset is at?
Yeah, V, I love that question because you said it wasn't just so steady, right, throughout all of that. I mean, all of us, we were going crazy. We were, you trade everyone after a loss, and we're going to the championship after a win, and there's Nick Nurse. Cool. He's bringing that same demeanor to this team. Listen, it can't be understated what he brings to this program. Nick Nurse has been there. He's done that. He's a champion. That's why 11 days after the Raptors won that title, Basketball Canada said, we need this guy to run this program. So they brought him here. You asked me that question. I reflect on what he said at the beginning of all of this, exactly 2 weeks ago, was the team's first practice. Doug Smith, the great writer, is just over here. He asked Nick Nurse about legacy. He asked him if there's a legacy building exercise here. And Nick sort of went, whoa, legacy is too big of a word for me, but we have a massive opportunity here to send this program into a different basketball stratosphere. Listen, this is an Olympic qualifier. This is an Olympic berth on the line, V. I know you guys have talked all about that, but this is so much bigger than that. This is about changing the DNA of a men's basketball program. It's not lost on Nick Nurse. It's not lost on the 12 men who will take to the court wearing the red and white for Canada. So it's a big moment, and it's not lost on any of them. Two things Nick Nurse said, V. We're going to be a team, and we're going to be sick, wicked, and nasty on defense. Two trademarks of a Nick Nurse squad.
Hey, one of the trademarks from that championship run is the hardwood, that Oracle Arena hardwood where they closed it out. They're going to have some good vibes with that at the arena tonight.
Well, yeah, thanks for asking that. I hope you can see it behind me, some touches of gold there. That's for the Golden State Warriors. So listen to this. Of course, Oracle Arena. It's crazy for me to wrap my head around this. I was on that court in Oakland the night the Raptors won the title. Now I'm on this court, the same court from Oracle Arena. So here's how this story plays out. Of course, a seminal moment for Canadian basketball when the Raptors win the first NBA title. Oracle's being ripped down, and Basketball Canada says, no, we want that court. They buy the court, they bring it here to Victoria, and so now you have this monumental moment, yet another one for Canadian basketball. It's here. You see the gold and blue touches from the Warriors. They didn't want to mess with that because obviously there was a lot of winning on that court with the Warriors involved. But there's a Canadian flag right in the middle as well. So it is a really lucky court. They're hoping that it provides more memorable moments for Canadian basketball. We know all about the Lucky Looney in hockey. We got the lucky court here. It seems like the stars and everything is conspiring for a Canadian win. So much talent, got to put it all together and put it on the court. It starts tonight.
And if that wasn't enough, there's going to be a certain superfan bringing even more good vibes.
So V, here I am. We're in the venue here. Across the parking lot is where you pick up your accreditation and talk to the volunteers in a curling rink, if you can believe it. I can't believe that because you know how much I cover curling. They're in a curling rink across the parking lot. I'm on my way over there this afternoon. There's Superfan Nav Bhatia, if you can believe it. Just off the plane here in Victoria, decked out in Canadian gear. Him and I had a conversation. I reminded him that the last time him and I were together, we're on the court, center court, at Oracle Arena. Here's our conversation. Wouldn't miss the opportunity to get Nav on camera. Here's our conversation about an hour ago from the parking lot just outside this venue. Superfan Nav in Victoria. This is a big moment for the men's basketball program, and I know you wouldn't miss it.
Yes, it is for me to be here and make sure and cheer for my Canada basketball team so that we can qualify for it, and we have to be in Japan. And you know what? My bucket list includes a medal from the Olympic team.
All right. You and I were just talking about the fact that the last time you and I were together, we were standing center court, Oracle Arena, after the Raptors championship. Same court here. Show
This was the ring. This was the ring, baby. This was the ring which we got out of that championship, and now we are waiting to get a medal. This particular floor is very lucky for us because we won our championship there. So I believe that we are going to get it done here also.
I'm just going to let you know, I don't know if you can hear me right now, but I couldn't
Olympic
hear.
in Japan.
You're feeling good. You're expecting
I'm
big things, and
feeling good.
Coach Nurse is going to have this team ready.
Hey, same coach is used to that floor, and good boys from our Canadian boys, a lot of them 8 or 10 playing for the NBA, and the other boys are good. I think we are ready to go. We are going to make a statement this weekend, and we're going to
I'll
be in
let
Japan
you know
in the
that
next 2 weeks.
I outstanding to see you enjoy it.
Thank you. Go Canada.
Wrapped up.
Devin, great stuff there. It's amazing to see all the good vibes. Hopefully it all comes together. As you said, the talent is there. It's time to deliver. And we hope you have a blast. We hope that you stay cool. It's hot out there, so stay cool for us.
West Coast, best coast, living my best life out here, V. And I know you guys are going to set us up for the game. It's great to be at a live sporting event, yet again. You enjoy it. Basketball fans across this Canada enjoy it as well. I'll be tweeting from the venue throughout the game. Thanks, V.
Remember, you can catch the game at 7 p.m. tonight on CBC. It wouldn't be North Courts without checking in with our star analyst, CBC's Megan McPeak. She's live from the Washington Bureau with the keys to the game against Greece.
Hey everyone, I am here at the CBC Washington, D.C. Bureau getting set for the live broadcast of the men's qualifying tournament. Team Canada taking on Team Greece in their first matchup and first game for Team Canada as they try to qualify and punch their ticket to Tokyo. I've got a couple keys I want you to pay attention to throughout the game tonight. The first one, Greece has a pesky on-ball defender in Kostas Sloukas. He likes to get in the shorts of the ball handlers, get into their shooting pockets, disrupt disrupt them and just create complete havoc. The ball handlers for Canada are going to have to take care of the ball and protect possessions. On the offensive end for Canada, I want to see a lot of ball movement. Get Greece on their heels, get them scrambling, get the defense off of what they want to do. That way you can try and get some backdoor action, some backdoor cuts, maybe even knock down some huge shots. Either way, those are going to be two big keys for myself, at least, if Team Canada wants to come away with a win against Greece tonight.
You got a couple of keys there. Let's get some more. We're going to check in with the two gentlemen calling the game for CBC, Dan Schulman and Javon Shepard.
Well, this is a week the Canadian basketball fans have been waiting for a long, long time. A chance for the Canadian men's senior team to qualify for the Olympics for the first time since 2000. Dan Schulman, Javon Shepard, very excited to bring you the Olympic qualifying tournament. And let's start off, Javon, with the overall format. 6 countries in this tournament, and only the winner goes to the Olympic Games.
You know, when you look at the teams that are in this, it's going to be a competitive, tournament. One, Group A, you have China, you have Greece. These are teams that have been there before. They're battle-tested. And Canada doesn't have the experience that some of these teams have. They've just really assembled this team. Obviously, it's probably the best team ever assembled. But, it's going to take a lot for them to get the chemistry, get, the cohesiveness that they need to be successful. It's not just going to be one of those games one of those tournaments where they're just going to run through because of talent.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the talent as we break down at Team Canada. And there are 2 names that really jump off the page in terms of guys who could lead the way for Canada.
Andrew Wiggins. I think having Andrew Wiggins back in the mix is going to be so important. One, think about what it does off the court. It sends a message. If a guy like Andrew Wiggins can play for this team, so many other young guys, so many other young talent in the NBA or high-level Europe will now want to and desire to play for Canada basketball. So it's the culture shift, it's the change in narrative that this team has needed for some time. Then you talk about, the athleticism that he brings, the talent level that you now have on this team, and RJ Barrett, a guy that he's watched his father play. And he said it a couple days ago that, look, he came up playing FIBA basketball. He came up playing Canadian basketball. He had to adapt to the NBA. So with a guy like that, he's coming in, he's going to be proud, he's going to be excited about the challenge ahead of him, and he's done it before. He's done it with the U19 team, leading them to a gold medal, so we'll see what he has in store here.
There are a total of 8 current NBA players on the Canadian roster, including a couple of guys who have been playing for Canada seemingly forever in Corey Joseph and Dwight Powell. How important are those 2 guys?
Those guys are big. They're battle-tested. Corey Joseph's a guy that I played with. And I think I laugh because we went through the dark times. There's a couple of years couple summers that, we were sleeping in airports and 24-hour travels. And we hear Rick Pitino chuckle about it with the Greek team there. But, those guys are going to bring the experience, the toughness, the mentality that you need to be successful on this FIBA stage, because it's again, international basketball. And I'm going to harp on it tonight. International basketball is not play where you can just rely on talent. It takes cohesiveness. It takes a team that understands the nuances of the game.
All right, let's talk about who Canada will be playing and must beat in order to advance to the Olympics. The first opponent tonight is Greece. Of note, Giannis Antetokounmpo is not playing for Greece. He, of course, is still in the NBA playoffs with Milwaukee, and they've got some other injuries as well, but this is still a team with a lot of international experience, and they've played together for a long time.
A lot of experience. You have a guy like Nick Kalathis. You have Kostas Sloukas, guys from the guard position that have experience. They've played international basketball, savvy guards, and they're not going to be scared of the talent that Canada brings. Then you look at what they have down low. They have some size. They have some rim protection. They have some bigs that can shoot the basketball as well. So they have talent. They have talent to compete. Do they have the depth? I'm not too sure they have the depth to compete with the horses of Canada.
And the game against Greece is huge because it is generally thought that China is the weakest of the 3 teams on the Canadian side of the draw. So if Canada were able to beat Greece, they would really take a big step in the right direction towards winning their side of the pool.
Right, and you know what? You have to take care of what's in front of you today. And that's going to be the big thing. You can't look ahead to China that's supposed to be a lesser team. Take advantage, capitalize on what's here for you today, and then worry about tomorrow. And, when you go ahead to a team like China, that's not going to be a walk in the park either. They have some guards that are, heady guards, quick guards, guys that are used to playing against import or American talent. Even a guy like Andrew Nicholson, he's played in the CBA. They're familiar with that level of talent, so they're not going to back down as well.
And on the other side, Turkey's very good. The Czech Republic might sneak up on some people. One final thought on Canada. Give me one thing, an advantage that Canada can try to exploit in this tournament, and if they have a concern about winning this tournament, what would that be as well?
I'll say this, Canada's talented. They're interchangeable. They have guys at the 2 and 3 positions that can play up a couple positions. They have guys that can play down a couple positions. Now, the only concern I would have is maybe the lack of shooting, right? You have guys that can score the basketball, but you don't necessarily have that specialty guy, that guys that maybe I've played with, a Brady Heslip or Andy Routens, that can really snipe the basketball. But with that being said, you have some guys that, quick feet down low, some rim protection, and a guy like Dwight Powell, and then you have the experience of Corey Joseph. So, they're pretty well-rounded. It's just, again, and I'm going to harp on it, that cohesiveness. They have to be able to capitalize on that and just make sure that they're able to get that going forward.
This group's been together for about 2 weeks. They started off down at the Raptors facility in Tampa, where the Raptors spent the season, flew out to Victoria, so they've got it on home soil as well. But we'll all find out a lot more about Team Canada as they tip it off against Greece in the first game of the qualifying tournament.
CBC has got you covered all week. That's what you need to know. You can catch all the games on CBC Gem. You will have the semifinals for you, the finals for you. All of it matters because guess what? Canada has to win this tournament. Nothing less will get them through to the Olympics. Make sure you're watching everything on CBC. First game beginning, Canada versus Greece at 7 p.m. Make sure you go watch it right now.